I'm Dr. Bryan Wright, and this is Run to the Huddle. I want to talk to us about our greatest desires. But to do that, I'm going to flip the script for just a little bit. I want to talk about what our greatest fear is. Now, you'll hear me say oftentimes that what we focus on expands. So I don't like focusing on fears, but I think it's really good to have a moment to actually reflect on what are we really afraid of. And I'll share a quick story with you, and then I want to share a very chopped up version of a quote from Marianne Williamson. So when I was younger, I was playing in a cracker box gym. Essentially, it was just this small little gym where the 3-point lines would actually go out of bounds. It was in a little town called Dietrich, Idaho. And I remember practicing so much growing up. I practiced with my dad after school. I shot free throws. I shot 3-pointers. I dribbled. I did all the ball handling skills. And I would practice for 3-4 hours after school, even outside of normal practice. I put in the time. And I remember going into my junior year of basketball, I was really struggling with the way that I was showing up on the basketball court. I wasn't scoring. I wasn't rebounding like my practice hours had demonstrated. And I just wasn't performing in a way that was really requisite to the amount of practice that I was putting in. And my dad, who I named this particular podcast in honor of, Run to the Huddle, because he used to tell me all the time, you need to run to the huddle, son, in between timeouts. Like, don't walk, run. He came down to the basketball court after about 6 games into the season, and he had a little talk with me. He said, hey, Bryan, I can tell that you're worried about something, and I can tell you're not playing to the level that you've been practicing. And I said, yeah, I'm really frustrated. I was averaging 4 points a game. I wasn't really putting up any really good, meaningful stats for my team. I wasn't really helping them win. And I said, I'm very frustrated. I feel like I, for some reason, am just not doing the work that's needed to be done for my team. And he just looked at me and he said, Bryan, don't be afraid to be good. And it just was like, boom, it just hit me right in the chest. It actually resonated so deeply with me. And the first thought I had was like, why would I be afraid to be good? That makes no sense to me. But I felt it. I felt the power of what he was saying because he spoke from an authentic place. His state was one of don't be afraid to be good. Like, you have done the work, now go out there and embrace it. Like, give yourself permission to be good. And it reminds me of this quote from Marianne Williamson. Essentially, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. She says that our deepest fear is that we're powerful beyond measure. And we ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, talented, fabulous, gorgeous? But actually, who are you not to be? We're all children of our Creator, and we were born to make manifest the glory of that Creator within each of us. And when we choose to let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. And so when we choose to go after what sparks joy, when we choose to go after what brings us joy, and we choose to give ourselves permission to be good, there's a huge shift that occurs, right? A huge shift. Now, this made a big difference in my life from when my father said, Bryan, don't be afraid to be good. What it did was it ignited in me this receiving type state where I'm now ready to go out there and play the kind of game that I prepared for this whole time, where I'm going to receive as much good as I'm giving. I wound up actually changing my average from 4 points a game upwards of 17 to 18 points a game. And it wasn't just about the points, it was about the contribution. My rebounds also went up. I averaged a double-double, which, no big deal. There are a lot of players out there that do far better than that. But for me, for the talents that I had and the work that I put in, it started to actually match the amount of work that I was practicing day after day. I began to contribute to winning tournaments and games with my team. And that shift in my mentality carried over into life with me. Don't be afraid to be good. Because sometimes when we are afraid to, like maybe we're afraid of what other people will think of us. Maybe we're afraid that other people will feel inadequate around us. Perhaps we're afraid that somebody's going to feel less than if we're really bright. And what Marianne Williamson tells us, she reminds us that we actually give people unconscious permission to rise up as we do so ourselves. So I think understanding that our own reality is moldable and malleable, that we can change our reality more than we ever realize because we filter. We filter our reality through three major filters. We delete, we distort, and we generalize. We do this as people. Inputs come in, and then we run it through our filters, which is our values, beliefs, our programs that we have, and we have words, thoughts, and deeds that also filter all of that. But we will delete, distort, and generalize. And when we recognize that our reality is malleable and that our filters are controlling the way that we perceive reality, then we can begin to give our permission to ourselves, so to speak. You have permission to be good. Like, don't be afraid to be good. And you can change the filters of how you see reality. One of my mentors taught me this last week, that when we are fully aligned, we get what we want. When we have full alignment in our lives, we get what we want. Now, full alignment can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. But for the purposes of what I want to share today, full alignment gets you what you want when we focus on what it is that we desire and give ourselves permission to be good. We can move in that direction as opposed to focusing on what we don't want and trying to avoid what we don't want. So a little reminder, what we focus on expands. So focus on what it is that we desire, give ourselves permission to go toward it, to be good, and put ourselves in full alignment, because that's what gets us what we want. Also, one other thing that my mentor taught me that I made a note of is that the greatest effect we can have on people is our presence. And this aligns all the way back to what Marianne Williamson was saying. Our presence, when we choose to liberate ourselves, will automatically liberate other people to do greatness in their lives. So that's my hope for my life, that I live in such a way that I don't have to say a single word because what I'm doing speaks so loud. And I'll leave you with that. What we do speaks so loud that sometimes people can't hear a word that we're saying. So if what we do speaks that loud, I just want to recommend and encourage each of us to do it, to live it in a way that it liberates other people and it liberates ourselves.